Welcome back, guys. I'm Cody, the Rad Retro Dad, and this is an update to my Wii Remote light gun video. And if you missed it, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll leave it linked at the end of this video and in the description. And let's get into this.
Come on, let's all go to the Rad Retro Show. Master of the Retroverse, he's the Rad Retro Dad. He's the Rad Retro Dad.
All right, guys, I've been wanting to do an updated Wii light gun video since my last one. It's been about a month since I did that one, and I've got a ton of comments about it. Some people are like, "This is awesome," and a lot of people are like, "Well, I'm having a hard time getting this to work." Now, this video is going to focus primarily on setting up your Wii remotes to work in TeknoParrot and be able to play two-player using the Mayflash DolphinBar. And I'm going to do a little bit of a fill-in for those that may have missed my last video. You can always go back and check it out, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information to kind of catch you up. So if you have already watched my previous video and you don't want to sit through this part again, there's a timestamp in the description that will take you right to the action. The product that I'm using is the Mayflash DolphinBar, and this is the box for it. The wireless sensor DolphinBar. This is a great product, and it allows you to connect your Wii remotes to your computer super easy. It's as simple as hitting the sync button on the DolphinBar and hitting the sync button on your remote, and you're good to go. The problem lies in the fact that the DolphinBar will only detect one of the remotes as a mouse and keyboard, and then it won't allow the other ones to be detected as a second mouse and a second keyboard, which makes it a little bit tricky to set up. And I'll tell you, in the last video, I thought that I had tried everything to get that to work, and I ended up using a program called Touchmote. And a lot of people said, "Man, this is awesome. This program worked great." But I would say even more people had problems with it, including me. After I had done that video, the program worked just fine. My problem is that every time I reconnected the remote to the DolphinBar, I had to close the Touchmote program and then reopen it to get it to recognize my Wii remotes. And that had to happen every time. And when you're trying to do a seamless arcade build, you don't want to be exiting out of the programs, closing down Touchmote, restarting it, and then restarting the program. You just want it to just work. You want to be able to turn your machine on, have it boot into the front end of your arcade, and just have it work. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this setup here. And Touchmote is a fantastic program. It allows you to program your Wii remote in numerous ways. The way that we were using it in the previous video was to emulate an Xbox controller. And so it would make your Wii remote look like X input on your Windows PC. Like I said, a lot of people had problems setting it up. A lot of people got it set up and then had problems with it recognizing their Wii remotes. And if you're like me, you had to reboot the program every time you wanted to recognize your Wii remote. And I just couldn't have that in this build. The other thing that I went over in the previous video was getting a really nice gun attachment for your Wii remote. And I got to tell you, the Nyko Perfect Shot is probably my favorite solution. And it also has a adapter on the bottom of it so you can plug in your Wii nunchuck, which is important for what I'm going to go over today. So this is perfect. This feels really good in the hand, feels like a real gun. And by plugging the Wii nunchuck into it, you can program these buttons over here to be like on like older on older light gun games, they had a pedal that you could step on that would like have you like look around cover, or it had different functions, or reload, or whatever. So you can like program these buttons and have them do different things. So I will leave a link in the description to the Nyko Perfect Shot. And I will also, it's a little bit pricey now, and I don't know if you can buy this new anymore, but there is a similar product on Amazon that I think it even comes in like a 2-pack. So you can buy it and then you get 2 of these. Not branded by Nyko, but similar to this. I'll leave a link in the description to that as well as a link to the DolphinBar. Anything I talk about in my videos, go to the description. I link to the sources that I use. I link to the products that I use. It's all there in the description. The other solution that I talked about was the DIY gun attachment, which is a 3D printed version of it. But it doesn't work for what I'm going to show today because it clips in to the Wii nunchuck slot on the back of the remote to hold it into the gun attachment. So I might modify this to hook into the little holes next to the Wii nunchuck port, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. Also, there are numerous gun attachments and blaster attachments out there for your Wii Remote. So just go on to, I'll link to some of my favorites, but go on to Amazon, go on to eBay, and just search for Wii Blaster attachments, and you will get a whole slew of them. All right, that concludes the catch-up portion of this video. Now let's talk about the new setup. So a lot of you had, like I said, a lot of you have complained about the Touchmote program. And I got to agree. I think that's a fantastic program, but I don't think that it works for arcades. And I did find a solution to completely eliminate that program. Matter of fact, you don't need an additional program to run in the background at all. Now, this is a function that is actually built right into the Wii sensor bar. Just the instructions were not clear about how it worked. It was clear on what it did. It makes it so that your Wii Remote will connect via direct input, which is like a lot of like generic gamepads will connect in direct input. Really, the only controllers that use X input are Xbox controllers and third-party Xbox controllers. So this is fantastic news, but I could not get it to work. It would not recognize it. I was having all kinds of problems in it. So the solution ended up being actually very simple. After a huge amount of trial and error on my end, I finally figured out kind of the method to do this. And it's really, you got to do this in the order that I say in order to make it work properly. I don't know if it's just a limitation on the DolphinBar or what it is, because I would think that it should work either way. No matter how you do it, it should just work, but it doesn't. All right, so let me explain the process to you. Okay, so here we are at my computer, and I've got TeknoParrot open, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But the first thing that you're going to need to do is plug in your DolphinBar, make sure that it's powered on. And right here, let me see if I can focus on it. It says mode, and right now, and if you hit this button until you're in mode 3. Now, I think this is a good time to mention that there is an update to the firmware. So if your DolphinBar has a hard time with this method, it's probably because you need to update the firmware. It doesn't matter where you buy it. I think that they're just, some of them are updated and some of them aren't. And I'll leave a link in the description to the updated firmware. After you've got your firmware updated, put it into mode 3. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to take the Wii Nunchuck, and I got the Rad Retro Sun here. He's going to plug it in for me. Okay, so make sure that your Wii Remote is off and that it's not synced to your DolphinBar. And go ahead and plug in your Wii Remote. And now what you want to do is you want to hit the sync button on the DolphinBar. And now flip your controller over and hit the red sync button on your controller. And then just wait for it. Should connect pretty quick. This light will continue to blink for a while. Just wait for it to turn off. It's still looking for additional controllers. And now it's solid. Okay, once your controller is connected to your DolphinBar in mode 3, now we can go to the TeknoParrot emulator. And we're going to set up a game here. Let's do Terminator Salvation. And the first thing you want to do is go into game settings, and then up here where it says X input, change that to direct input. And then what I've found is that I have to turn my sensitivity down all the way on both on both players, because for some reason this mode is a bit more sensitive than say mouse mode. Okay, once you have all these settings the way that you like them, let's go ahead and hit Save Settings. And now we're going to hit on Controller Setup. And it'll bring you into the controller setup menu. And the controls will set up similar to like just a gamepad or a controller, a regular controller. So we're going to start by doing the coin. And you may or may not need the coin button for most games, but it's always nice to have it. And I like to do button 1. And then don't worry about like volume up, volume down. Doesn't really matter. We want to do start button and trigger. And these are both going to be the same button. It's going to be that trigger. And you can see trigger is button 3. Do it again for the trigger. And this game has additional inputs as well. You can see there's grenades, and it had a dedicated button for reload, which is why I chose this particular game. Now we can take our nunchuck, and we're going to program these 2 buttons to our nunchuck. So click on grenade area there, and I'm going to put that trigger button there, which I think is Z. Yeah, it's Z. And then we're going to do reload as the C button, which is this little one right here. Now comes a bit of a tricky part, but it's not as bad as it was when using Touchmote. But we're going to set the gun X and gun Y, and just set them to the exact way that I'm doing it here. Now you'll notice that this is super sensitive. All you're going to do is you're going to take your remote and you're going to shake it in front of the DolphinBar here, and you want it to read joystick Z plus, and it takes a little bit of trickery here. Just keep moving it. Eventually, it's going to say it. And now we can click to the next input, gun Y input. And what you want it to read is joystick Z rotation plus. So keep moving it. So right now, let me move my cursor again. It's in the way. So just keep moving it until all I'm doing is moving it in front of my DolphinBar. And eventually it will read joystick Z plus. And that's it. Now you've got player 1 set up. The X and Y gun inputs are the most important, and the trigger. Other than that, you can set these controls up any way that you want. And now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to set up player 2. So right now we're going to do the start button, and again we're going to do the trigger. And trigger. And we're going to set the trigger for trigger. And then we're going to do grenades as the Z button on the nunchuck. We're going to do reload as the C button on the nunchuck. And now again, the X and Y inputs. Make them read just like they did in the other one. Oh, look at that. I got it first try. Then we're going to move on. And we want it to be Z rotation plus. See right there, it says negative. Make sure it says plus. And just keep moving it around. Come on. Until it says joystick rotation Z plus. That's the hardest one to get. I don't know why, but it is. So once you have all your controls set up the way you want, go ahead and hit save settings. And that's it. Now you are set up and you're ready to play. At least we're ready to play Terminator Salvation 2-player with the Wii Remotes. And we bypassed that Touchmote program. We're not even going to use it anymore. That's it. Now you can go and you can set all your other games up the same way. The piece of the puzzle that I was missing when I was originally setting this up, and that the instruction manual did not tell you, is that you have to plug this in to your Wii Remote to have it work. And you have to do it before you sync it, at least for me. If it's different for you guys, let me know in the comments. So let's load up this game and give it a play. All right, guys, so we got our game loaded up here, and I moved the camera back so you can kind of see where we're standing. So we're standing about 8 to 10 feet away from the screen, and which is about the perfect distance for this DolphinBar. And we have ours, again, mounted on the bottom of the screen. And you can see that both me and my son are able to play at the same time using 2 different Wii Remotes. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. It really was just a simple fix. And it was just the fact that the instructions don't tell you that you have to have the Wii Nunchuck plugged into your Wii Remote in order for Mode 3 to work on your DolphinBar. And once you get that, go ahead and like mess around with the sensitivity and different options in your game, and you can usually get your games to be how you want them to be. So I'm gonna do another video. I just wanted to do this one to kind of get past that Touchmote program and be able to just use the DolphinBar by itself without an external program bogging you down in the background. Now, I'm gonna do another video on setting up multiple different emulators using this method. Some of you had mentioned in the comments like specific emulators you wanted me to do. For example, the PS2 was a big one. Also, I had somebody ask if we can do an NES so that they can play Duck Hunt this way. And the answer to all that is yes. Now, there is a little bit of fiddling you have to do to make all these different emulators work. But I'm in the process of like testing it all out, and I will have all the settings for you for these emulators on how to do it. I think that the big ones are going to be MAME, Dolphin, PS2, NES. And if there's any other emulators that you want me to try, leave some comments below on what emulator you want me to try and set up. So, anyways, until next time, stay rad and stay retro.